Hello everybody, it's Jordan Davis again. Thank you for clicking on this video and welcome back to my channel. Y'all, we are finally doing it. We are sitting down for the Q&A. Super excited to get into this. Now, this is our 1K Q&A video. I wanted to do a video so that you would be able to get to know me a little bit more, but also, and importantly, so that I could get to know y'all a little bit more. First, I want to thank y'all for some great thoughtful questions. It really took me some thinking to answer some of these, and not because they were like difficult, but just because I was like, I haven't thought about that yet. So thank you for that. And before I get into answering any of them, I want to say, I want y'all to participate with me. So in the comments section, because I'd like to know who I'm talking to too. Y'all get to know me more and I'd like to get to know y'all more. So again, and this is all on the precondition that you write whatever you feel comfortable writing. But I would like to know, if you want to share your name with me, because some of y'all don't have your name as your username. If you want to share how old you are, if you want to share where you're from, because I know some of what countries you're from, but if you want to share like what city you're from or what region of the country, I would love to know that. That's all cool information for me. If you want to tell me like the pronouns you use, or, if you just want to be like, I'm a guy from X or I'm a girl from X, because if you don't have a picture, I can't tell. And then tell me like some other information that you would tell me if we were sitting down having a glass of wine together, like I imagine one day we will when I come to Eurovision and y'all come and we can chat. So just some other things. What's your favorite Eurovision entry? How'd you get into Eurovision, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and get into this. And I should have this divided by timestamp into chapters on the bottom. So if you can't watch the whole thing, you can see which sections you want. Even though I really hope you'll sit down with me, have a drink with me, and we can chit chat and get to know each other. And you can let me know about you in the comments section. So let's go ahead and get into this. So let me just reintroduce myself real quick. Y'all all know me, but I'm Jordan Davis again. I am 24. I'm from Topeka, Kansas originally. I may insert a photograph of a map of where that is, but it's in the center of the United States, Midwest, landlocked, Topeka, Kansas. I did my undergraduate degree in Kansas City, and I love Kansas City. It's my favorite city in the US. And I have a degree in sociology and history. That's my college degree. And I'm currently a PhD student in anthropology at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Though fun fact, I'm about to peace out of here after I get my master's degree, which hopefully will be this semester. But anyway, let's get into the actual questions. And I'm gonna try to do that thing where I post a screenshot of the questions as well as let y'all know who asked the questions. So question number 1 is from Jackadonia, and if you have not checked out his channel, please check it out because he is so great at editing. I'm impressed. I am always impressed by people who can edit, and his channel is really great. He makes compilations of Eurovision entries by country, by just year, all of these different metrics to compile different videos. So check out his channel. But he asked, what other hobbies or interests do you have? So one big hobby and interest of mine, and you may know this if you've watched any of my videos, is singing. I'm a singer. I've done some covers on this channel that you may have seen, but check those out if you don't. I have a playlist. Check those out if you haven't. I have a playlist. But specifically, I love choral music because that's most of the singing I do that's in like a formal setting. Choir music in the classical tradition. So like my favorite choral composer, just so you know, is this guy from Latvia. His name is Eriks Eschenwalds. I think that's how you pronounce it. But I love his music. I love his album Northern Lights, so check that out if you haven't. And generally, I think my favorite tradition of choral music, of choir music, is Baltic choral music, or music by Baltic composers. Like I have this album called The Baltic Exchange, and it's all choir songs. It's a really great album. You should check that out if you're a fan of choral music. Another hobby that I have is like reading, and I know that's dumb. Well, maybe it's not dumb, but I haven't been able to pursue that much since starting grad school in 2018, but I'm hoping that when I get out of here in December that I'll be able to take up more reading for fun. Specifically, I like nonfiction reading, like history. And specifically, I'm interested in like ancient history. So I love reading about the ancient world and ancient mythologies and things like that. Another hobby of mine is video games. So I do play a video game every once and again. It may not look like it. I may not look like the type, but I do. I don't play them too often, but I do enjoy a good video game every once in a while. So I think lately I've been playing Grand Theft Auto and The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. And I love that game. My friend turned me on to that game. And then my last hobby is, I would say, well, not my last, but the last one I'm gonna mention here, because I can't think of any others, will be just hanging out with friends. I have a really good group of friends. I don't have a huge group of friends. It's a pretty small group, but it's a great group. I might insert some pictures here just to show what I look like when I'm not filming videos and when I'm hanging out with people. But yeah, so those are kind of my hobbies and interests outside of school, outside of filming Eurovision reaction videos. But of course, Eurovision is probably the biggest hobby that I have other than singing. So this is a question, and if I'm looking down, it's because I have my notes here, so I don't, forget anyone's name or forget a question or an answer. So this is from my friend David Norman. Hey David, do you have a specialty in terms of period or region of time? And he's asking, I think, about my own research as a graduate student, and what culture or period fascinates you the most and why? So I have to answer that kind of in two parts. So the first, if I were speaking in terms of like historical interest, it would definitely be, like I said, the ancient world, but specifically ancient Egypt or ancient Greece. Ancient Egypt is kind of my first. I have 2 tattoos. I have one here and they're both, and then ancient Greece. I love reading about ancient Greek society, but also the mythology really. And then also followed closely by the ancient Near East. So Babylon, Assyria, ancient Media, all of those Near Eastern empires, civilizations. So also, if I'm talking about my research interests in graduate school, I'm a cultural anthropologist. And so my work deals not with historical populations, but contemporary populations of people. And so the research for my MA focuses on contemporary battle rap in the United States. And when I say that, I mean rap music in the United States, battle rap music, and focusing on looking at that as a musical performative Black space in which artists, fans, and Battle League administrators perform racialized selves and others by way of lyrics, racialized practices, and bodily performances of race. So that's kind of what my master's thesis is going to deal with. And then again, like I said, academic research is not really for me. So at that point, I think I'm gonna peace out from this grad school thing. But you're gonna be with me on that journey because it's this semester that I'm trying to do that. So that's kind of the answer to that question. So we have a few more of the personal questions. This one was really interesting to me. This was from Kirill Glebov. I had to Google Translate the name just because I can't read Cyrillic letters. I used to be able to at least take Cyrillic letters and translate them to the equivalent Latin letter, but I since have forgotten how to do that. So he asked, so you go to UNC Chapel Hill, which has a really good basketball team. Are you a fan of UNC's athletic team? What's your favorite sport? Are you an athlete or a fan or uninterested in sports? Well, I have to say, to be honest, the only reason I even give a rat's ass about UNC sports is because I go here. Like, that's the only reason. Now, I thought it was quite cool. And of course, I heard about UNC basketball long before this. I like Michael Jordan, of course, but personally, I'm just not big on sports myself. I've never really been big on sports. I played like basketball and baseball in like elementary school, like when I was, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, but I kind of fell off of that pretty quickly. But if I had to pick a favorite sport, I would say baseball, just because I like the experience of attending games. And I know that that's not going to happen in the near future. And I also know that I also want you to know that it doesn't mean I go to baseball games all the time, but if there's any sport, it's that one because I like the atmosphere, the environment, in addition to the sport itself. So this one is from my friend VP. So again, I'd love for y'all to tell me what your names are if you're comfortable doing so. Don't do it if you're not. But if you're comfortable, let me know what your name is because VP, we're cool, but like, I don't know what your name is. And they asked, do you speak / are you learning to speak any other languages? No, I really wish I was. And I think perhaps when I'm done with grad school and I have a lot less stress on my plate when I'm just working, I might try and pick up another one, because y'all know how much I love Slavic languages. So I might try and like pick up one of those for fun. Now, to be fair, I was trying to learn some Dutch when I thought I was going to be going to Eurovision 2020, but then that didn't happen, and then I was sad, and then I stopped learning Dutch. So I still have some like remnants of what I've learned from Dutch, but definitely not enough to say that I know Dutch, even though I may know a word there, here or there, or be able to put together a few words here or there. I don't know Dutch. But yeah, so no, but I hope to. This is another question from Jackadonia. So, have you ever traveled to Europe? If not, where would you go first? I know you're keen on going to Azerbaijan. So that's true, but I think the first place, if I had to pick one place to go, well, look, if I had to pick one place to go, I couldn't, but I'm gonna do two. I'm gonna pick between two right now. If I had to pick two places to go first, I would either pick the Balkans, specifically either Zagreb or Belgrade, or the Baltics, specifically Riga or Tallinn. Oh shit, I forgot what the capital of Lithuania is, or Lithuania too. So one of those two regions that I would like to go to first, because I just feel like I could have a party good time. Like, I feel like there are regions that I love reacting to. There are regions where I love the music. It seems like I would enjoy the culture and learning about the culture and feeling the culture. And I don't know, they just seem like great places to visit. So either somewhere in the Balkans or the Baltics would be the first place I would want to travel to in Europe. So we are on to part 2, which is ESC beginnings. So, question number 6 is, how did you find out about Eurovision? And this was from Kirill and David. So, I remember it pretty vividly. I was in college. It was in my last semester of college, or right before my last semester of college in 2017. And I happened to be recommended this video by FBE, which is the really huge like reaction channel. It's not a Eurovision reaction channel, but they do like a Eurovision video every year. And so I saw their adults react to Eurovision 2017 video. And I don't know what compelled me to click on it, but I was like, okay, that looks fun. That looks interesting. And so I clicked on it and I was just like, I'm like, this is interesting. And so I think the very first song that they opened the video with was City Lights by Blanche from Belgium. And just seeing the staging, the quality of the stage, as well as her voice, made me want to look up that song in its entirety. So I did that, and that was actually the first Eurovision song that I ever purchased, was City Lights by Blanche. And I didn't buy it from the album, I bought it as a single, but then that was quickly followed by Lucy Jones, I Will Never Give Up on You. That was the second song I ever purchased. And then third, I think, was Lights and Shadows by O'Gene. And so that's kind of the very beginnings of how I found out about Eurovision back in summer, probably late summer of 2017. And so David asked kind of a follow-up question to that, so I'm gonna put this one as like 6A. So he asked, you came across a song, a performance, a contest. What was it that transformed this from I love this song to an obsession with the whole contest, national finals, etc.? So I really love this question because it's interesting going back and exploring kind of my own trajectory and how Eurovision paralleled a lot of changes in my life as well. So like I said, this was the semester where I was coming up on graduation from my undergraduate degree. So I've always loved the process of cultivation and curation when it comes to music. So for example, I still buy all of my music from iTunes. Like, I don't use Spotify, I don't use Apple Music, I don't use YouTube Music. All of the songs that I have are either from Spotify or from physical CDs, and I have over 5,000 to 6,000 songs on my phone. So I really like the process of like, if I find an artist that I like, I look up more of their music and I try to find it myself. I don't know, there's something that seems personal about that, and it seems like I've collected now an archive of music that I've done the work to find. And so the same happened with Eurovision. So after seeing the stage quality in Blanche's performance, but in all the other 2017 performances that they showed in that FBE video, and also the quality of the songs themselves, it kind of drove me to want to seek out more about this context. It drove me to this, or about this contest, I'm sorry. It drove me to this process of like self-research, figuring out, self-seeking. And that's one thing I'm really proud of for myself in relation to Eurovision, is that like, I figured out Eurovision because I was interested in it. Like, I didn't ask anybody to tell me about it. Like, I did it by myself, and I'm proud of that, because I'm like, look, I know how annoying it can be when somebody who doesn't know about something is like, oh, what's this about? So I'm proud of myself that I was like, look, if I want to find it out, I'm going to figure it out myself, and I'm going to come into this world knowing what I'm talking about from doing my own work. The first non-2017 song that I discovered was Aminata, Love Injected. And from there, I was just sold on the whole Eurovision everything. So from summer 2017 to spring 2018, like January, February 2018 is when I kind of went through that period of like, okay, how does Eurovision work? Like, what countries go? How did the semifinals and final thing work? What are the big five? All of those really basic things. That's kind of when I figured all of that stuff out. And then by the time 2018 entries started to really come out, in the spring of 2018, I was already on board with watching it live, and I was already trying to figure out how to do that. And so by the time 2018 came around, I watched it live, and I had a pretty good sense of how the main contest went. With the national finals, I started watching those a lot in 2019. So it's like that came a season after I figured out the main contest. And from there, we've just skyrocketed, and I feel like I have a really good grasp on things, especially for an American Eurovision fan. I know there are a few of us who do YouTube, who do reactions, and I'd like to think that as far as knowledge of Eurovision, awareness of Eurovision, and not only the songs, but all of the behind the scenes things, all of the extra Eurovision relations, I'd like to think I have a pretty good grasp on those.